of my loop or my knot come up and over the double-ended side of my loop. And I'll further explain this a little bit more when we get to that point. Alright, what I'm doing is I'm wrapping the line around these 3 fingers a few times so that way when I'm done doing my twist, I can unwrap and start doing my knot. The rest of it will go around all. It's not very tight, I just have it so I can have some grip on my braid so I can do my loops. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do 30 twists on my braid to get my start of my bimini knot. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 30. Alright, now that I've got my 30 twists on my loop, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my bench here to help me open this loop so I can get a good 6 foot. Okay. So now do this a little differently for y'all. Okay, so now you can see that the braid is tight. My wraps have been closed in, making them real close together and tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give my tag line some slack while still opening the loop. I'm letting the tag line wrap back over my loop line right there, as you can see. Alright, hope you can get that. Okay, so now I've got my twisted line underneath. I've got my overwrap of my tag line over that. So here's where I'm going to do a half hitch on one side. I'm going to do a half hitch here. I need to make, okay, and I'm going to do another half hitch on the other side. So I got one half hitch, I'm doing the other half hitch on the other side, and now I'm going to do a half hitch on both lines. Once I do the half hitch on both lines, I'm going to do 3 of them. So that was 1, that's 2, and here's 3. Now to close this knot, because basically I've created an on ramp, I need to create an off ramp. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a closeout knot, and basically it's like a uni, but with the uni, I'm not going to bring my braid around. I'm going to go around just the main line. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 times. There's where I'm going to cinch it down. And that's it. That's your bimini knot right there. So to close that out though, I like to put a little pressure on the end right there. I'm going to cut my tag line off pretty short. And then I'm going to melt it. You notice right there I'm using the blue flame instead of the orange flame. The reason for that is so that way I don't have any black discoloration on the end of my knot. So now that I've done that, I finished my knot. I need to get all this twist out of there, because if you leave that twist in your line, that it already starts to break down your line's ability to hold its line capacity. Real quick, I'll start from up here where it's nice and straight, and I'm basically going to put a little pressure on it. What I'll do is it'll start to spin that knot a certain direction. What you want to do is follow that direction to get all that line twist out, as I've done there. Now my line is nice and straight, okay, but my loop is still twisted, so I've got to do the same thing there. What I like to do is open it up with my hands right here, and that helps me undo all the loops, or all the twists in there. So now I've got my, it's a little more than 6 foot, yeah, it's closer to 7. Which is fine. If it's a little bit longer, it's all the more better. It's all okay. Alright, so now I've got that. Here's where it starts to count. Okay. So as you're going to start spooling line, like every other line, you're going to insert your line through the front end of the reel. Okay. For us, Once you do that, you're going to go underneath the spool and bring it around. Okay, and this is where the 10 wraps will come into play. So there's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I've got 10 wraps on there. Now, as you can see, it's very messy in there. I don't like very messy when I'm tying my knots. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep pulling the knot all the way through. Okay. So I've got my knot all the way through. What I'm going to start doing now is stacking my knot back on there nice and neat. Try not to over wrap it. Okay. Alright, so now I've come to the end where I have that loop that I had put on this. Now I've come to the end where I have my loop. And this is the loop knot I'm talking about. Alright, braid fell on the floor. Soaked up a bit. Okay, so here's the loop. Here's the simplest part of this whole knot. Now all you're going to do is insert your braid right through there. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Now you're going to go back to cinching down your knot. Go back to cinching it down and cleaning up my gappage there. Like I said, it's me and personal preference. I've seen other guys do it and they don't have it all nice and neat like that, but it's just me. I like that. Okay, and as you can tell, it already has gripped the spool and there is no stickiness or anything on the spool. It's nice and dry. There's no tape and no mono. But as you can tell, it's already starting to grip on the spool. The only way I'm going to move it over is if it's all super loose and I'm pushing on both sides. But right here, I'm going to engage the lever and most braids right then and there will start to slip. As you can tell, all it did was tighten back up. From a very loose position, it tightened back up. Now, let's do that again. Watch. As you can see too, just trying to get it loosened up is not very easy. But, there you go. Look, all the knot is loose again. Okay, and the only way it's getting loose like that is because I've let off pressure here. If I didn't let off any pressure here and I tried to loosen it up, it's not going to loosen up. Okay, now, when the metal heats up because a monster run and you're coming down to the knot, then it's going to loosen up, but it's still going to maintain heat. So it won't shrink enough for this to slip. And even if it did, as you can see, this is super loose. That's way more loose than it can ever get really from the metal expansion when it's hot. Okay. And right there, as soon as you add pressure, the knot is already locked back in, even though that was loose just a second ago. So this is how my knot works, and that's why it works so well, is because this loop right here, as soon as you add more pressure to it, it's going in the opposite direction, so it creates tightness in your knot here. So that's where the grip is, right then and there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to back off the drag a little bit so you can hear that it's, you know, I'm putting pressure here, it's pulling the spool. And that is some very tight line right there. As you can tell, those are the wraps from the braid right there where I was holding it. Okay, so that is your solid braid loop knot. Okay, I like this one because it's very easy, very fast, and very effective still the same way. Now, what I originally designed this knot with was not with that loop, but with an actual uni at this point. Since I've already tied everything the way I would normally do for the same knot I'm going to show you, all I'm going to do now is remove my spool off of the loop. And as you can tell, now it's off the loop. But I need to create the uni knot to finish this off. Okay, so let's see if I get it a little further down. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create my uni knot. And you notice all my lines are nice and tight. I keep everything equal on both sides of my knot. There is no slack line, there is no excess line when tying this knot. If you have excess line, it doesn't help you, it works against you. So now to create a uni, I'm bringing both lines parallel to each other. I'm going to take my tag line in through the loop I have now created 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right there is where I'm going to cinch it down. And now I'm going to lubricate this one because this knot's going to be sliding down there and tightening back up. This is part of that expansion and closure part. Obviously, all right. Now that I've got it lubricated, I'm going to tighten this down, and then you're going to see it's going toward the center of my knot here. Okay. And I'm going to still kind of work it a little bit because I want my knot to be nice and neat on my spool, because that also helps too. Because once you start creating these micro gaps, when you're trying to put line capacity on there, it's going to work against you. Those micro gaps are like stacking PVC pipes on each other. You get them all nice and neat on there. However, if you look in between the pipes, you see gaps. That's what solid braid will do to your spool in a micro fashion, but it adds up and will eat up your line capacity big time. Now, this knot, it slid down the line, right? But now look, if I want to take it off, I'd have to open it and pull literally from this side. So again, that reenacts the whole spool heating up from the inside and opening up. Now it's opened up, okay, and I'm going to loosen all this, and this is in a very extreme fashion. As you can see, the line is extremely loose. Okay, now I'm going to engage my drive over here so it can start turning my handle, because obviously I'm not going to be able to hold the spool when I'm on a fish or whatever. So I'm going to use my lever as I was going to be fishing. And there's still going to be, I'm going to engage my lever as I would be fishing. And there's going to be pressure on this line. And you see the spool starting to turn, but look at the knot. It's already cinching down by itself and doing what it's supposed to do. And look, there you go. It is not going anywhere. And as you can tell, I've put so much pressure on it, the braids right here are almost clear. That shows how much pressure is there. Yeah, these are still a little bit loose, but it's already tight. It's not going anywhere. I mean, there's the pressure of the line I just put, trying to tighten it back up on both hands. So, as I stated before, and even now, I can't even, look at that. I can't even move the braid over. I'm gonna have to loosen the knot up from the inside to be able to give me a little bit of slack so I can fix my knot, because I don't like it loose like that. I don't want micro grabs. And that's how we are able to get the great line capacity that we love to get. And finishing off, this is that was a bit of a struggle to get it all nice and tight. Okay, so in finishing off, that is your solid braid uni knot to close out the other 2 knots that we have called this. I haven't decided what to call this. I was thinking an arbor knot, because that is what is actually gripping this and making everything work. If you don't have this, then this is not going to work. If you only do 1 or 2 twists, it will slip. You have to do a number of wraps around the spool in order to get a grip. This is the best way to do it. I'd rather overkill it than have it slip on me when I'm on a big fish and I need to crank my handle and my spool doesn't grip the line and get it in. But also too, I don't want mono or tape on my spool to hinder my ability to get the line capacity that I'm looking for. This is Team Hard Life Captain Albert Zertuche, bringing you up to speed with how to attach solid braid with no mono and no tape, maximum line capacity and zero slippage. This is the best way. Y'all have a good one, and please subscribe to our channel as we got a lot more information coming your way. Stay tuned.